typically the stronger your conviction that you have in something, the deeper the story you're telling yourself the deeper that becomes entrenched in your mind, the harder it is to unsee it or see like an alternative path that may actually be true, because that would mean you were wrong. And that, to me, is kind of the whole essence of entrepreneurship and what it looks like. So there's a concept.
I was going to say we call that anchoring bias, but yeah, go ahead.
So the concept that I like to think about, and it just seems to come up all the time, is the idea that the business that your company succeeds with is very rarely the business that your company starts with. And it's rare because it is so difficult to discern at the onset of what you're building the exact combination of product and market that's going to result in the elusive product market fit, and what will actually result in business success. And so much of the startup journey is just trying to survive long enough to continue to ask new questions and refine those combinations of things to unlock real value. And embedded in that sentiment, I think, is that you really just have to fall a lot more in love with the problem that you're trying to solve than the solution, because your solution, more often than not, is not going to be correct. It's not going to be the final solution. And so it's just this constantly humbling process of trying to build and iterate and survive as you learn and kind of work your way through what is working, what isn't working, and trying to double down and reorient around what actually is working.
I love that. So